Hello and welcome to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar. In this video we'll be answering the question, how should hyphens be used with prefixes? So a prefix is a half word, such as pre or post, that is placed before the word that it's a part of to change the meaning of the whole word. For example, pre means before something and post means after. What's interesting to note is that most prefix words exist in two forms, with or without a hyphen. And it's most clear to me that no actual rules exist on this. So it means that post-war or post-war can be written with just one discernible difference, the use of a hyphen or not. And so in the first example with the hyphen, it makes it clear that we're talking about events after the war. Without the hyphen, it could confuse readers, and also traditionally we'd expect post and war to be separated into two words, so the use of the hyphen can be clearer. Let's take another example, prehistoric. Now in this particular first example, that is seen by many academics in the field of science as quite a good way of referring back to the historic time period. It's before the records began of history in some sense, whereas the other is also accepted, but not in a more academic context. The most pressing matter within the context of whether you use hyphens at all with prefixes is that you're consistent. If you use a hyphen with one prefix in your writing and then you don't later on, you are likely to confuse your readers. So it's important you keep it the same across the piece of writing. If I were using the same hyphenated word more than once but failed to put a hyphen in that prefixed word, I think that would be more confusing than not using it at all. There's another example of how prefixes are used and whether hyphens are a part of that, and that's in titles. When we're dealing with the names or titles that are prefixed with capital letters, the prefix is written in a lowercase letter with a hyphen. Let me give you an example. The ex-army leader who was anti-communism discussed his concerns during his speech. Now, ex-army, army is a professional job, and so that proper noun, before it we don't put a capital E, an X with a hyphen, we put the small ex because it means he's no longer part of the army. Likewise, the prefix anti with communism is important to note that communism is an ideology and it's a political belief system, and that's something that we consider to be a proper noun, yet anti and the prefix is written in the lowercase. So whether we're referring to ideals or things that are important to us with titles or roles that people have, we nonetheless need to be consistent that we use lower letter casing for that with the hyphen. Now it's your turn. I want you to identify if the prefixes in each sentence require a hyphen or if the hyphen is used accurately based on what else is in the sentence. Hit pause if you need thinking time. So, how do you get on? Post-war ideas changed the mindset that governed pre-war Britain. Now it's interesting that we've got two words with prefixes in. And post-war has a hyphen, yet pre-war does not. And so we should have made a decision with the sentence whether we're using prefixes with hyphens or not consistently. To my mind, saying post-war with a hyphen means that I need to put pre-war with a hyphen for it to make better sense to the reader and for it to be grammatically accurate. Next up, ultraviolet light is as powerful as infrared light. Now here, each of those particular hyphenated prefixes are used in the same consistent fashion because they both have hyphens with the prefixes. It's correct. Finally, anti-government protests are controversial. So anti-government here, we've got the correct use of the prefix with a hyphen. It's clear that it's the government that's being opposed by protesters. So it's about clarity and it's about ensuring that across your writing, if you're using a hyphen with a prefix, that you're ensuring that it's the same across every time you use that example. Best of luck, grammarians. Why not subscribe to Miss Hannah Loves Grammar for all things English, literary and grammatical?